Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. So, the blind leading the stupid, leading the ignorant, leading the absolute moronic. I don't know where else to tell you this administration is going, but we're starting to get the absolute stupidity coming out of some of these talking heads in the Biden administration, especially when it comes to the food crisis. And anybody that all of a sudden has an epiphany and goes, there's a food problem. Where the hell you been? Okay. I don't have to go into the fact that, Tom Vilsack has never planted a tomato in his life, yet he's the Secretary of Agriculture just because, he lived in Iowa. Therefore, that means he's got it inherently in him to be a farmer. No. Stupidity. All right. But let's get into Samantha Power. If you heard this over the weekend, okay, this was on This Week, and I'll show you the clip here in a second. But if you don't know who Samantha Power is, she's currently the administrator of the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, okay? She was previously the United States ambassador to the United Nations during the Obama administration, okay? And obviously she is a democrat, but talking about the food crisis, and I mean, part because she's the administrator for U.S. aid, this is something that she should really know in her job. Now, we all know about the sanctions going on against Russia. I don't have to get into that. I do want to mention this. One thing that is not sanctioned is fertilizer. Okay? And we are, probably like most of you guys, most farmers are too, dead in the middle of planting season. And we're having a problem with getting fertilizer for the crops, which means harvest, guys, okay? Everybody goes, oh, gee, they're short on fertilizer, they can use something else, which is what this dingling thinks, all right? I want you to watch this video.
Fertilizer shortages are real now because Russia is a big exporter of fertilizer. And even though fertilizer is not sanctioned, less fertilizer is coming out of Russia. As a result, we're working with countries to think about natural solutions like manure and compost. And this may hasten transitions that would have been in the interest of farmers to make eventually anyway. So never let a crisis go to waste, but we really do need this financial support from the Congress to be able to meet emergency food needs so we don't see the cascading deadly effects of Russia's war extend into Africa and beyond.
Yep. Never let a crisis go to waste. They are trying to take this food crisis, this fertilizer issue, this war in Russia, and turn it into a boon for their green debacle, okay? As you heard her in there, and this is what I found just absolutely idiotic. We need to go to compost and manure. Now, y'all know I'm a huge proponent of compost and manure. Farmers use it. I use it. You use it, okay? But I want you to think about something real quick. How much manure does a farmer need to put on an acre of vegetable crop? Roughly 25 tons per acre. How much how much compost needs to go on an acre? This is every year. An acre. 1 to 10 tons of compost. So if you take a look at the biggest farm, vegetable farm or fruit farm, whatever you want to call it, not ranch, not raising cows or whatever, Stuart and Linda Resnick, okay, these are the ones who own the Wonderful Company, okay, wonderful mandarins, wonderful almonds, wonderful pistachios. You've probably seen their commercials, okay. They also own Fiji water and stuff like that. They have the largest acreage of vegetable farmland. You can say Bill Gates, whatever you want, but Bill Gates isn't growing anything, all right. He just owns the farmland. Resnick is actually growing something. He has 190 100,000 acres growing all this sort of stuff. Now, I don't even want to get into the fact of almonds need a lot more nitrogen or whatever. We're just going to go off the basics. Okay. 190,000 acres means in order to put manure on his farm to fertilize, basic, he would need 4,750,000 tons of manure every year. Add 3 zeros to that. That's over 1 billion pounds of manure. It's like 9 billion pounds of manure. 9 billion. Now, we could take a look at the Offutt family. They own 190,000 acres. The Fanjul family, 152,000 acres. The Boswell family, 150,000 acres. The Simplot family, 82,000 acres. Okay, those are your top 5 largest privately owned family-owned farms. Okay, I'm not even getting into the corporate farms. Okay, 9 billion pounds of manure for one farm. Well, Miss Power, I have a question for you. Where do you think manure comes from? Primarily, cattle. What are you trying to get rid of? Cows. Your solution doesn't work. But hey, it's a great talking point. We need to get to more manure. We need to get to more compost. Great. How many cows do you think it takes to make 9 billion pounds of manure to fertilize one farm? Now, again, I'm all for the compost. I'm all for the manure. You guys know I use it, make it, do whatever, get it anyway. Horse manure, cow manure, I use it. All right. If you watch videos, farmers spread manure, okay? They also use a lot of fertilizer. Why? Because there isn't enough manure to do everything that Samantha Power is talking about in the first place. Ever made a compost pile and watch it shrink and shrink and shrink? Can you imagine having to make 10 tons of compost per acre? All right, again, do the same thing. 190,000 acres times 10 tons, okay? 1.9 million tons. Yeah, okay. Where's all that material coming from? It's not realistic. And this is the problem with Democrats. They can talk a great game, and there's enough people out there who believe it. Hell, there's people that still believe that the economy is doing good. There's people that still think Biden's doing a good job, okay? How far they have their head in the sand. Let's leave it there. I have no idea. But this is the insanity that is going on. And this is why it is so important for us to do whatever we can. Because you know what that was the prelude to? That's the prelude to, well, gee, we're just going to get rid of all chemical fertilizer anyway. Gee, we're going to go to all GMO food. Gee, we're going to go to all of these massive indoor greenhouses. Okay, kind of like that article I posted yesterday. This is what's coming, guys. This is the food issue that we have. And this is the leadership that doesn't have a clue. Pinball out.